Welcome to Where Are All My Friends?
Dude, I feel like I've been here this whole time.
Honestly. No, dude, I'm so stoked for this one. Like, because, I mean, we were talking about the podcast. I guess on the second tour, I had just barely started doing the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do a ton of episodes early because I wanted to like get the rhythm right and all that. So I'm kind of stoked that it's you back in LA now.
I feel like this is a much better time
exactly
than before.
And so much happened with all of your music stuff that I feel like it's just better all around.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for being here. I'm glad it worked out.
Thank you for having me as always.
For anybody listening and not watching, we have the squad here too. This has become my favorite way to do it. I used to do it just in my room, just like shift my desk and all that. But with the new couch setup, I kind of like being able to like hang out with everybody.
Yeah, this is fire.
Yeah. So anybody listening, we got Fat C Young Burial here.
Bang, bang.
We got Jack here, filming, chilling. Hey. We got Tommy Loverboy here.
Bang, 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 bang.
Part of the Savage Gasp story. So I feel like this was all meant to be. I'm stoked. So what I like to do first and foremost is for anybody that doesn't know you, just real quick, tell a listener who you are, what you do, what your project's all about.
Okay. So my name is Savage Gasp. I'm from Fort Knox, Kentucky. I like making music with my boys, shaking that ass in a circle and having a good time. And literally, I feel like that pretty much sums up my project fully. Yeah, it's pretty much all there is to say about it.
I mean, honestly. Okay, cool. So what I like to do then is I like to go back to kind of like where you find music, where you get into doing what you love doing. And we've talked about this just in being friends, but you came from a totally different world outside of music. So take me back to young Gasper, what life is before music, what you're up to, where you live. Paint that picture.
Okay, so let me set the scene for you.
Set the scene.
So we're talking Fort Knox, Kentucky. We're talking trees.
Sunrise.
Sunrise in the distance, maybe some grass.
Temperature.
Fresh dew on the grass. We're talking a cool 68 degrees temperature. You know, the dew's on the grass.
Wish
you know, the birds are
69,
chirping.
But that's fine.
No. We're not doing all that.
Okay.
All right, so it's beautiful out. A young Gasp is waking up in the morning for soccer practice. He awakens in his bed and he's like, what am I going to do today? He looks at his agenda. I'm going to go to soccer practice and then I'm going to exist and do nothing for the rest of the day. And at this point in my life, I was like, is this all it's ever going to be? And I really didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to be a teacher. Like I knew that I wanted to be a PE teacher so I could coach soccer.
Okay.
And that was really the only like true like aspiration that I had at that point. So I was like, all right, let's go to soccer practice. So I was doing this every single day. And I'd been doing it for most of my life. Like I'd played soccer since I was like 4 and then like started playing competitively when I was like 10 and played at a high level, I would say, all through high school. So I thought that was like all there really was to life, honestly, at the time. So long story short, I'm going to soccer practice, we'll say this particular day. And at practice, this kid like seriously injures me.
How old are you?
I was probably 17 at the time.
Okay.
So we're practicing to go into our senior year season.
So you'd been playing for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
so I was going on like 14 years of playing.
Holy.
So
were you good enough where you could have played pro? Like if you stayed on that path?
I could have played. I was going to play D1 for sure, but I don't know if I was going to end up playing pro soccer because I wanted to still go to college and like have a normal job.
What's D1?
D1 like college soccer. Okay. So like I would like the highest level of college soccer. I would say.
So yeah, like as you're playing, like it wasn't like you were just wasting time and you had no potential. Like you were good enough.
No, I was very serious. Like that was like my life. Like
cool.
Everything that I did like involved that like training to be as good as. And it's really I feel like that transferred over to music too because even now like when I'm in something, I like dedicate every ounce of my being into like making sure that I'm like as good as possible like at that thing because like success is like a matter of perspective and it's like as long as like in my head like I'm doing as much as I possibly could and like I was the best I could be, like I was always like okay with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's sick. And like did you with soccer did you like what were you listening to any music that was anywhere near like what were you into?
So at that time was when I first started actually getting into SoundCloud. Like I was listening to like Oliver Francis, and like a little bit before that I'd found like Playboy Carti, Death in Tune. That was like a project that I really liked. That was like the Red album from Playboy Carti. Diego Money, like Icy Twat, like Super Fire at the time. I'm trying to think of some other people that I was listening. Xavier Wolf, Chris Travis,
shit,
like.
Okay. And was that like did you have a friend showing you that, or was that kind of just you? Like clearly you're not. Soccer's your life. Like you're not digging deep on
Yeah,
music.
I had a friend. One of my best friends in high school. His name was Gabe. He like came from Texas, and he knew about Maxo Cream from Texas, and a couple other rappers from there. And then through that, he found out about Cardi. So I think this might have been after Fetty had already dropped. Maybe like around that time period. And he was like, dude, like there's this dude named Playboy Carti, like he's on like the come up, whatever, like you gotta check him out. Cause I don't think Carti was like super, super huge at the time. He was established, but he was still like a SoundCloud artist. So he's like, yeah, man, you gotta check this out. So I started like digging into that, and through the production, I found Mexico Dro, Icy Twat. And then I got really into like the production side of it. And I to this day, like I don't like make beats. I don't know how to make it, but something about it was like really fascinating to me that like kids that were my age were out there like making all these crazy beats, and I'd like never heard anything like it before, because like I was listening to like Lil Wayne and like Drake and like
okay, that's what I was
regular
like
stuff,
like
you know what I mean,
that
like
starter pack of just like cool music is on.
Exactly, yeah. And then when I found Oliver Francis, that's when like everything changed. That was like someone that like I don't know. He just like inspired me.
You know what's so funny is like he was a huge part of me finding any type of that scene or anything like that as well.
So you also listened to him like early on, would you say?
Yeah, I would say probably 2015, 16,
yeah,
right around there.
I'm thinking that's about like for me 2016-ish.
Yep, because I had a buddy that showed me, I think it was the Astari page, but like I was living in San Diego and he just started showing me all these videos and everything. And I was like, this is fucking sick. And it felt special. It felt like music where the artists, I don't know, it just felt like real independent music where it was like something more than just radio music or whatever.
Yeah. Especially
and it was a scene. And
he was producing it too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was
like
making his own videos.
I don't know. I thought that was so
everything.
crazy. Like he's just doing this like in his house. Like all of his videos like only had him and his friends. Like something about that was just like you and like just your close homies around you like coming up together and just like having a good time and like having genuine fun in it. I was like, dude, like that's who I want to be like.
It reminded me of when I got into music back in the day. But like, I mean, I started touring with my friends when it was 2008. So like a lot had happened. That was like Warped Tour world, Warped Tour scene, whatever. And that all kind of felt like it got washed. So seeing that to me, I was like, oh shit, there's still a scene. There's still people doing independent cool shit that matters. And Oliver Francis was one of the first that I saw that was like re-inspiring on that for me. Yeah. But anyway, so you start finding this when you're still playing soccer.
Yeah.
17 years old at practice and you get hurt.
Yeah. So in practice, just like the kid was just like taking it too seriously. And I jumped up in the air to like head a ball or something. And he knocked me like sideways, like I flipped, but when I came down I hit my head on the ground first, I thought, but the way that he flipped me, it like hit the side of my ankle, so like my ankle like completely like caved in on itself.
You did like a whole like
and a complete like 180 spin in the air, like my ankle like caved in on itself on the side, and I smacked my head on the ground. And that was it. Like I knew like not waking up but coming back to consciousness, like that was it. Like there's no way that I was going to be able to play that season.
Did you break your ankle?
Yeah, I did. And I had a concussion.
Fuck.
So
surgery or just cast?
Just a cast at the time, and then boot.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you have that?
I'm metal. My shit's all metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but dude, like my ankle was like this size for like 9 months.
Oh my god.
Not like it was terrible.
Dude, see, I feel like I got lucky with the metal because because it was so broken, they were just like, okay, cool, surgery, instantly fixed the break, instantly put metal. So the healing process is like from the second day, it's just back to straight healing. Whereas if you're waiting and casting it, you have so much recovery.
See, and I don't know why they don't do that for everybody.
I mean, I don't know. It's expensive. And it's still so weird to me to think that there's metal in my leg forever now.
Yeah,
but
you're like
I don't know.
Iron Man.
Yeah,
but cuter.
I know. But okay, so you You knew 17.
Oh yeah, no, I knew. I was
and I
like,
mean, that's a lot of time off your feet.
yeah, and like the kid felt bad about it, but he knew too. He was like, I think I just fucked this kid up.
Oh,
and
shit.
the school knew, because I was like their best player, that it was toast for that season. Because I was the top scorer for our school for the season before.
Oh, fuck.
By a long shot.
Fuck.
So everyone was kind of just like, what the fuck just happened? Like the one kid that was like decent is
especially
like,
at practice too.
Yeah, and it was only a matter of like him taking it a little bit less seriously and not like so blindly like rushing into that it would have been fine.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay, so that was your life. Soccer's your life. You get hurt. What's going through your head? What do you do? Like, are you bedridden? You're just chilling on crutches? Like, what happens next?
So I was like chilling on crutches. I was doing the Andrew thing for a while. And in this time, I was like, life is over. I was like, I don't like anything else. Like, I never learned how to do anything else. I'm not good at anything else. So I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? So my best friend Darius, like had this like little Blue Yeti mic.
Yeah.
And he was like, you should try to like make like YouTube videos or like something, just like pass the time by. He's like, you can borrow the mic if you want. So I borrowed the mic, and I'm just like trying to figure out what I like wanted to do with it. And one of my other best friends had Audacity on his mom's computer. Yeah. And he was like, hey man, like if you want, like I have Audacity. I heard like you're the only one that has a mic. So like if you want to like come over to my house, we can make like a mixtape or something like tomorrow after school. And I was like, let's do it, bro. Like, yeah. I don't got anything else to do.
Shouts to Audacity. I feel like without Audacity existing, nobody takes that first step.
Dude, I know. Like, right? It was literally, he just happened to have it on his mom's computer.
It's always like the one person where they like learn to like do one thing.
Yeah, and he was like, hey, man, I heard you had a mic. And like, for some reason, no one else had any.
Word on the street.
And I was like, yeah.
What was the city that you lived in again? I forgot.
Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Fort Knox, Kentucky. They're like, heard this is the only kid in Fort Knox with a blue microphone.
Well, bro, my high school was like 297 people.
Oh, fuck. You might have been the only
kid
with a mic. So I was
literally the only person that had a mic there.
Holy shit. Okay. So you guys get together. Darius.
So Darius gave me the mic, and then my other best friend we had like a really close friend group of like 4 kids. So the other kid in the group, Alec, had the Audacity on his computer, and he was like, hey man, bring it over after school tomorrow. And I was like, I got you. So my mom drives me over there.
Incredible.
And
Jill still on crutches and shit?
Yep. Jill drops me off, and she's like, all right, have fun. And I was like, the fuck am I about to do right now? Like, am I really about to be a rap music? I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, is this what rappers do?
Am I really about to be a rapper?
So, yeah. So then we like sit down at his house, and he's like, hey man, you ever made a rap song before? And I was like, honestly, no. And like, I don't know what you mean by that. And he was like, all right. So he like puts on this like Kendrick Lamar type beat that he found on YouTube. And he's like, I'm a spiritual lyrical miracle, individual lyrical miracle. And I was like, yo, this guy crazy. And he's like, all right, man, it's your turn to spit a verse. And I was so like confused, but I started like giving it some thought. I was like, like I could just try. If it's cringy, we don't have to put it anywhere. Like no one's going to know except me and Alec. So like I like laid down this verse, and like I played it back for him, like, and this is like unmixed, and instantly you already like knew who was better out of the two of us. Like from that, he was like, why is this like not bad? And I was like, I don't know, I just wrote that right now. Like I didn't think it was good. And then like instantly in my head, I was like, after seeing his reaction to it, I was like, interesting. So a little bit of time goes on after we make that. And he was like, we should just make an EP, bro. That'd be really hard if we like dropped like a duo EP and like the whole school would know about it, man. Like that should be crazy. And I was like, yeah, that's really epic. We're going to do that. So we went back to his house. At this point, I think I might've been off crutches. A little bit of time had passed. So like, I'm trying to think of when in 2017 this might've been. Maybe like early-ish 2017.
That's not that long ago.
Yo, no.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so this is like early on. And we make these 4 songs, and then like I'm just telling him, I'm like, yo, I have this other song that like I was just working on at my house. Could I like just record it, and like you could tell me what you think of it? So I recorded it, and he was like, bro, honestly, like this is too good to like record on like a snowball mic. He's like, you should like go to like a recording studio and like just see what happens. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So, and that was Lil Shooter. It's a song that's still out on my SoundCloud today that has like 100K for some reason. But yeah, so I go to the studio with Darius and our other friend, and I was just so confused because this is like a month into making music, and I was like, all right, now I guess I'm about to try to record in a studio now.
What's the studio like? Was it legit?
He was really, really cool, and it was like a nice studio. At the time, like I worked at a coffee shop at the time, and I'd saved up for like that whole month to go because it was like $60 an hour, and I was like, bro, this is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
So so we went there, and I recorded my like first couple like studio songs there, and then dropped my first song, technically Lil Shooter. I mean, like I had songs before that were just like us goofing around, obviously.
Yeah.
Like the EP and stuff. But I would consider my first like actual piece of work would be like that song, and I dropped that a month after.
Were you Savage Gasp from day one?
Yeah, I was always Savage Gasp.
Really?
Yeah, I like didn't have the $, and then had the $, and then like had it as one word, and I like didn't really know, but it was always like Savage Gas. But I will say that at one point, we can talk about this later, there was definitely like a like snap in my head that like that's like old like crappy Gasper, and like this is Savage Gasp now. Like you're not the same person, you're not going to do the same shit anymore.
Okay, cool.
But that came later on.
Okay, we definitely need to talk about that. I love that, and I love moments like that.
Yeah, and that really like clicked hard at a certain point. But yeah, so the first song, Lil Shooter, it didn't do like super good, but
and you just upload straight to SoundCloud?
Yeah, so I put it out, and I remember like I'd bought the beat from Ginseng.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Because I had found out about him from like someone else through SoundCloud.
This time, you're probably in it enough where you're finding a couple.
Well, because like I'd been like following like people that I listened to, so I kind of like saw other people around them.
Yeah, you start reading who produces what and shit. Like you can kind of start to put it together.
Yeah, so I went to his maybe BeatStars or Track Train or something, and I bought the beat. So I sent it to him, and he was like, man, this isn't even like that bad. He's like, if you like keep going with this, like, you know, you might actually be able to like do something. And I was like, thanks. So
hey, thanks.
So then I was like, well, do you want to like be on the song? And he was like, I don't know. But he was like, you could like pay me for a feature. So at the time, my little brain was like, this is a really good idea, even though I don't know if it was, but I probably paid him like $20 or like $30 for him to like rap on it. And which is like crazy now, seeing like where we're at compared to them, the both of us. Shout out Chris. That's like crazy as fuck. But yeah, so I paid him for it, and then we put it out, and within the first week it like did good for me at the time. Like everyone at my school knew about it, and then on top of it, it had like 4 or 5K on SoundCloud, which for me, I was like, this is amazing.
It's not nothing, right? Like it's not a song that gets 30 plays.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
So it was cool to see any type of reaction to it. And at that moment, I was like, maybe we should just goof around the rest of senior year, like put out some more songs and like see what happens. And that's it.
Okay. So that's so that takes you through high school.
So, okay. I should actually elaborate a little bit more. So as the goofing is occurring, so I'm starting to go to that studio more, and I'm starting to see people in Louisville, because I was driving from Fort Knox to Louisville every day.
Louisville. I like Louisville. You say it properly.
Which is like an hour away from Fort Knox. So I was going every day, and like at the studio and through people that I saw recording, I was starting to like meet people.
Yeah.
So I saw these dudes in Louisville that were like doing their thing, and I was like going to their shows like as a fan, and I was like, bro, I can't like just do nothing forever. Like, how about if we're not doing anything already, like we start like trying to get in with these people and like make friends and start to like establish myself a little bit more in that community. So I bought this Polaroid camera.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they're not going to want to hear about my music because I'm a fucking scrub. So what we're going to do is act like we're a photographer. So then we can get in with them, because everybody wants Polaroid pictures that look really fire. So I bought like cute anime film and stuff. And I was like, this is how I'm going to get in with them, because no one's going to say no to getting their picture taken and it looks fire.
That's smart.
Yeah, that was like my first like
that's your first little hustle.
So yeah. So I started doing it, and this is like March, April of high school. So it's like starting to come to the end of the year, and I was like going to Louisville every single day. And I was meeting like more and more people. And then there was this one dude in Louisville named Jack Harlow, who's like one of my favorite artists to this day, like my homie to this day. And he's like crazy. Like, he's signed to, I think, Atlantic now.
Oh shit.
Super fire. Yeah, like he's super talented. He was the only kid I hadn't met. So I pulled the Gasp.
Let's go. I don't know. Should we even explain the story itself? We'll explain pulling a Gasp.
Yeah. The story explain will explain pulling a Gasp because it's literally like not doing anything. You're just chilling with your bros, and then other bros come, and then you have a bro down together.
It's circumstance blessing you. It's the circumstance gods being like, blah, da, da, da,
I think it's more like making sure you're working really hard so you're in the right place at the right time.
Okay, yeah. Just keep explaining it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely
I would say it definitely has to do with hard work too.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to discredit that. I think that it's almost just become a meme of itself, because now you can be like, oh, cool, this crazy thing's happening. Oh, of course Gasper is involved. Like right? Like it's not just luck, because you are good at it, and I'm sure the story will explain that. But it's almost become comical how good at that you've become now.
So I'm going to this party with these girls, right, in Louisville, and I'm like telling this girl on the way, yo, I haven't met Jack Harlow. Like, I'm such a big fan of this kid. He's so fire, but like I can't get in contact with him. I tried to DM him and like whatever. So she's like, oh, don't worry, like you'll meet him one day or whatever. So we're rolling up to this party, right? And I knock on the door, and who do you think answers the door?
I think
it's Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow.
So he comes out, and he's wearing a Kenny Chesney shirt, and I'm wearing a Brad Paisley shirt.
Stop.
I swear to God. And he's like, bro, that's a fire shirt. And I was like, you got a fire shirt.
See, but that little Gasperism, right? Like, if you weren't in touch with like fashion in that moment, you probably would have been wearing that shirt. But still, like moments like that and things like that happening.
Yeah. And he, so then we just like talked, and he ended up being like just a great dude. Like, he was super like genuine, nice. And even though at the time, like he was like in a much like higher place, I guess, than I was, he was like very open to like just like talking about whatever. So I didn't really tell him about music until we were leaving. I was like, I didn't even try to plug myself. I just said, hey man, I'm a really big fan of your music, whatever. And he was like, oh, do you make music too? And I was like, yeah, like I have this like 1 or 2 songs out, if you feel like listening to it. And he was like, yeah, man, just DM it to me, whatever. Like, I'll get to it. I'm sure it's cool. So of course I like get in the car and instantly DM him, and I'm like, yeah, like he's so cool. Like, I didn't know he was gonna be such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And I didn't really expect anything to come out of it. So then like 4 days goes by, and he DM'd me back.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, this shit is fire. He's like, this is really crazy. Like, I didn't even know that you were doing it like this. Like, I expected it to be bad. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, like I just be doing my best. And then we ended up talking like a lot more and like hanging out a couple times. And he really like gave me some of the first like really, really good advice that I've like ever got, just like helping me with little things here and there, and just kind of like guiding me as a person that was a lot more experienced than me. And he was the one that was like, dude, you got to get out of here. Like, you can't stay here and work at the coffee shop forever. Like, you got to go to New York or LA. Whoa. And he's like, which one do you want to go to? And I was like, I mean, I think I want to go to New York. So that kind of like, I really took his advice seriously, because it was someone that I looked up to so much. And I was like, all right, well, I guess we got to figure out how to get to New York. Damn. That was it. Graduated, and then the next day I left Kentucky.
Holy shit. And don't your parents live in Arizona now?
Yeah, they retired and moved to Arizona.
Okay, but they were living in Kentucky at that time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were. They
Did they support you leaving?
Nah.
Really? Because they're mad chill now.
Oh, Jill and Gasp, amazing people, very supportive. At the time, my dad was like, nah, I don't want you to like live on someone's couch and like be homeless. And my mom was like just scared that like it wasn't going to be anything. Because she was always really, really supportive, but when no one else was. Yeah. But she kind of was like hesitant a little bit, because she was like, I just don't want you to like go out there and then just like you're screwed.
Makes sense. So, and because another part of it, so you're 18, you just graduate, right?
Yeah, I think I'd like just turned 18.
And you obviously end up going. Where did you go?
So first I moved to Maine.
Okay.
Yeah, so in Maine, that was the only place where I knew someone.
I was gonna say, why Maine of all places?
So it was the only place where I knew anybody, and I like looked it up in advance, and I was like, it's only 6 hours from New York. I'll save up and buy a car. So I saved up, and I bought this old shitty BMW. And
what kind?
It was like a 1996 like drop top 3 Series.
Incredible.
It was like the white one. Do you remember that?
A 96. Was it an E36 or an E46?
Honestly, I don't know anything about cars. I literally like saw it on the lot in New Hampshire and like this old guy's house, and I was like, "Hey man, how much for the car?"
96.
And he was
96,
like, $2,200, and I was like, "Does it run?" And he was like, "Kinda," and I was like, "Sounds like a deal to me."
Oh my god.
So I buy this car, right? And I'm working in Maine at the time, and like I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So every Thursday night, I was driving 6 hours after I got off work at like 3 or 4 and going to New York, finding whoever I could possibly stay with. And like, I would literally like look on like social media, like what's going on this weekend, like who's here, what do I need to do to like make sure that like we like accomplish some work or record a song or something this weekend.
So you were actually pretty fucking serious about it the whole time. Like it was never, not a joke, but like it was never a hobby. Like this whole time, ever since you had that spark, you were in.
It's like, it's hard for me to like do something half-assed.
Yeah.
That's like never been me. So like when I like find something that I'm like passionate about, even if I don't realize that I'm like going hard at it or I'm like trying, like subconsciously I'm like pushing myself to do those things anyways.
That's sick. Yeah, because, and you were saying that kind of from soccer, right? Like you just have.
Oh yeah, it was just the same thing. Like I'd like wake up in the morning and like go to the field with my little brother every day in the summertime. Like instead of like going to like play or like do whatever.
Yeah.
It was always like, dude, we gotta like go practice. So
Yeah.
then like this year I could like be even better than last year.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like I thought I was just playing soccer, but I think I really wanted to like be something in that.
Yeah, like there's just something there. Like it's, when you explain it, it's so natural. But as I'm thinking about it, thinking about that life, like after the first or second trip of doing that, I'd be like, fuck this, I'm chilling in Maine. Or, you know, you could have that attitude.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like, this is around that time where that thing clicked in my head. So
Okay.
what happened is like, this is September 2017 now.
Yeah.
So still like fairly early on.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because really I feel like it's 2019, so really everything happened last year and this year.
Years, yeah.
But so I'd say it's still pretty early on. So I'm like making those, like my style was like not what I wanted it to be. That was like my big thing. Like I was like doing this like weird auto tune thing, and for me it didn't work. Like I felt like I was trying to be someone that I wasn't, and like I was like looking up to all these people and trying to like emulate them. But like that's not how you make good music. So I was like, okay, something needs to change. So I'm going to the studio in Long Island with one of my friends, and I'm thinking about this beat that I have and that I sang over, like doing the auto-tune singing. And I was like, I just don't think this is gonna work. And he was like, why don't you just try to rap it? And I was like, I've never really like seriously made a rap song before, like where I'm rapping without auto-tune. And he's like, just try. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So I got in there and like I just like started like rapping the song, and it like literally came so naturally. It was like I wasn't trying to force it anymore. I wasn't trying to like be something else. Like it was literally, it felt like that's what I should have been doing the whole time.
It was that moment.
And that was my song, The Devil Wears Balenciaga, which is still out. And that was my first song that like did well on SoundCloud.
So not only did it feel right to you, then it connected.
It felt right to everybody else, I think. Because finally it was that thing that was like, this is probably what you should do right now.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And that was the start of like your kind of style or influence, or like, you know, just like what you actually sound.
That was at least the first step, because I think that was like a little bit different. Because like stylistically, I like to change it up a lot, but I think there's like still like, you know, it's Gasp.
Yeah, it
no matter
feels
what.
like you. Like there's just something about the way that you deliver everything.
Because at that time I was like, the songs were like a little more like rap heavy. And then like I went through a phase after that where I was making like Feeling Gucci, Steven Universe, like Moshi Moshi and Flaming Hot Cheetos, which are the two more poppin' songs that came out of that era. And those were really like cute and like, I don't know, it's like that bubbly, like,
yeah,
I don't know how to really explain it.
It feels like your goofy self translated onto a track.
Exactly.
Like, there's this confidence, there's a flow, but it's also like, yeah, it's Gasper and he's just goofing around, doesn't give a fuck.
And that was like, I didn't really know at the time what I was doing, because so this is around the time that like I was about to discover everyone that I know to this day. But at this point, I literally don't know anything about anything. So I put out this song called Feeling Gucci, and I found this Melty Cannon beat because I remember he had produced a song for Father, Heartthrob.
Yeah.
And I just love that song. So I was like, I want to make a song that like is on a Melty Cannon beat because he's so fire, like whatever.
Yeah.
So I go and I bought the beat from Melty Cannon and I put out the song called Feeling Gucci. And that was really like my first song that was like the other side of Gasp. So there was like the rapping side, but then there was also this like goofy, like fun thing going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, like maybe at some point these things will like mix, but maybe not right now.
Yeah.
So I put out this song and within the first day, this kid from Atlanta hits me up named Keyshore. And he's just like, bro, like, I know you don't know who I am, but he's like, I saw your song Feeling Gucci on SoundCloud. And he's like, it's so fire. I feel like no one else is making music like us. That's like cute, like bubbly rap. And he was like, I want to call it like pretty boy music. And he's like, if you want to be a part of that, like I could send you like an open and we could start working on music. So I like check him out and I start listening to his music and I was like, bro, this kid is so talented. Like, I can't believe no one knows. I was like, bro, I feel like no one knows about us, but like once they do, like shit could get really crazy. And he's like, yeah, man, I know. So he sends me the open for the song called Killjoy.
Oh,
and that
shit.
same day, I sent him back Flaming Hot Cheetos.
You guys did those tracks together?
In the same day.
Oh my God.
So a month goes by and we dropped both of them. And this is like the first taste of like actual success that I ever like saw. So Nate already had like a good following on Instagram at that point.
Yep.
So he drops Killjoy first earlier in the day and instantly like it's doing good on like, he's making like edits to it and it's like doing good. And he's like, dude, look, everyone loves our song. So I'm like, this is another big gasp. So I wrote the song about Clairo because she was like one of my favorite artists. She still is one of my favorite artists. Like I just thought that she was just like amazing. Like I was like, I love you. So I write the song for her and I'm thinking, I see that the other songs do good and I'm like, I wonder like how we could get Clairo to say something about it. So then like it'll do better. So it starts going through my head. I was like, dude, what if we like get all of your fans to like, I don't know, like at her or something. So then maybe she'll see it. And Nate's like, well, that song, This Is America, was popping at the time. So he's like, how about we do something else where like I make a meme of that song because all those videos are trending, but we do it with Flaming Hot Cheetos in the background. So I was like, okay, so let's do both of those ideas and let's put it on the back of Killjoy already doing really good today. So that night, he made the meme to This Is America. And I made a video of me like dancing in front of my computer that looked like Pretty Girl by Clairo, like type vibe. And he was like, all right, comment on it so she sees it. So we wake up and the edit that Nate made has like 200,000 views on Instagram. And Clairo had responded and the post had like 4,000 comments on it. And she'd literally like commented back to it. And everyone freaked the fuck out. And within that day, those songs were already doing better than everything else that had come before it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And that was the beginning of me and Keyshore being like, bro, let's like take over. Like, let's like do something. Let's do more stuff together.
You know what I think is so important about this? And I'm so glad too that Loverboy is here, is like there is what feels like something casual happening. To anybody that doesn't pay attention, it feels like, oh, cool, yeah, that meme went viral, must be nice, whatever. But it's not. There's more to it. And it's caring about your actual music and coming up with a way that's not traditional to get it noticed. And that was very intentional.
Oh, yeah.
And you executed that. And like, again, I feel like we were just talking about that. Like, that's important. And that's not just like an, oh, by the way, like that comes from being smart and planning shit. I'm sure we'll talk about that more as you guys, because I want to hear about you guys meeting too, but I don't know. I had to sidebar that first.
Yeah. So, well, that's like coming up soon. So
okay, good.
Around this time, so that ends up
that happens. Well. Is there anything else that happens from her commenting?
It just like brought attention to it basically. And then the meme like went even more viral than that and like brought it more attention. So I was just saying like it was a big moment for that. And also for me, it was like, I felt like I had reached someone that I like really looked up to so much and like an artist that I loved. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe I'm doing something right and I should like keep pushing on this and just like keep thinking of ways that I can like kind of think outside the box a little bit to get stuff out there.
Yeah.
Because I know not everything is going to work and I've learned that many times, but when it does, you just got to like capitalize off that.
Oh.
So now we're getting to like where I'm about to meet everybody.
Let's go.
So Nate and I haven't met in person at that point. So we made Killjoy and Flaming Hot Cheetos over the internet.
That's right. Yeah, because he's in Atlanta, right?
Exactly. He was still in Atlanta. So him, Kevin Kazi, and Tommy Ice are about to come to New York. And I know you've heard the story from the other side.
Yes, and it's on the podcast too. Which is
I heard it.
It's cool to connect them.
Yeah, the three of them are about to come to New York, and I had this friend named Heavy, who's like now one of my best friends, and he had this like really cool collective, like an artist collective in it was in Manhattan, and it was like 4 floors, and like everybody could stay there if they wanted to. Like I always like had friends over. So Nate, Tommy, and Kevin, I think just probably needed a place to stay or wanted to hang out. So I'd been friends with Kevin Kazi for like a year and a half before that, because I was just a fan of him. Yeah. So Kevin was like, yo, you want to hang out? He's like, I'm with Keyshore. And I was like, bro, I love Keyshore. Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
Yeah.
So we meet that day, and instantly, and like I'd already been friends with Kevin, like I said, and like I'd been friends a little bit with Castor, with Tommy Ice before, and like I'd love them. But when me and Nate met, it was like, it's like my long lost brother that like I really, really like felt like I just found like my best friend.
There's a very specific energy about both of you where like there's just this fun, light excitement. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just an energy.
I don't know what it is, but like I literally was like, I've known you my whole life, dog. Like, this is crazy. So Nate, I didn't really like know what his situation was, but I knew that he didn't want to go home. So he was like, hey man, I don't really like want to go back to Atlanta. He was just talking about it casually. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to like stay here and try to find someone to stay with. And I was like, well, I live in Maine, but we're close to New York and I come every week. So if you want to just live with me from now on, you can. And he was like, really? Just like casually? And I was like, yeah, I have a show in Kentucky in a couple days, but you have to come with me. If you want to come with me, you can come home and like we'll live together from now on. And he was like, all right, man, sounds good. So we said bye to Tommy and Kevin, and we packed it up, went to Kentucky the next day together, barely knowing each other. It was like amazing. We played a show there that was like oddly lit for how small we were. And it was great. Like a ton of my friends came, like a ton of, it was just like, I didn't expect it, but everything like with Nate and me together at that point was like, it felt really natural and it felt good.
Yeah.
So we went there, and that was like beautiful.
You good?
Can I stop for a sec?
Yeah, we can pause.
Can I take a picture on the roof real quick?
Right now?
It's about to be sunset.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess we can actually. You played the show in Kentucky.
So then I was like, bro, like I think that me and Keyshore like need to like be together 24/7 right now, and that would be like a good move for the boys, just because like I feel like we think a lot about things in the same way, and I feel like I'd never really met anyone else that was like that at that point. So we go back to Kittery, Maine. Beautiful Kittery, Maine.
Oh, it's my favorite place.
Of course. Who doesn't love Kittery, Maine?
I visit every 3 months if I could.
Dude, it's actually really nice there. Okay. So we go back, and like and then Nate starts working on his first album ever, the Pretty Boy tape.
Okay, because this actually explains some questions for me too, because in my head, or at least when we talked, I thought you guys instantly moved to New York, but no, you were in Maine together.
No, we were in Maine for the whole time.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
So we went back and forth every single weekend. And sometimes I'd have days off. So like we were there for so long, sometimes it looked like we lived there, but we were just like really trekking it back and forth the whole time.
Yeah.
So we go home. Nate starts working on this tape or album at the time, the Pretty Boy tape. And like at this time, it's like we're working together and we're making like all these songs that are now like songs that like everyone knows from us. And then I make this song in that time called Moshi Moshi.
That's when that happened.
So this is like around that time. So I drop Moshi Moshi like when we get back. So it's like early summer time. And the song is like, it's doing its thing, like it's whatever. And then I remember Internet Hippie and I had talked about like getting a video for the song on like a platform. So he was like, all I can do is send it to them. Like, I'm not guaranteeing that anybody's going to say yes. And then everybody said no that we asked. So It was like
For Moshi Moshi?
yeah, every single person that we hit up said no. So I was kind of bummed about that. So I was getting ready to just drop it and make a YouTube channel. And then one day randomly we were recording at our friend's house, and Elevator, the channel, DM'd me on Twitter and was like, yo, I changed my mind about Moshi Moshi. Like, let's run it like right now. And I was like, when do you want to drop it? And he was like, in like 20 minutes. So I was like, oh my God, okay. So I sent them everything that they need for the video, and Moshi Moshi premiered that day on Elevator. And that was really the first big thing besides Flaming Hot Cheetos that started to like shift the tide towards like being a more serious artist. Like actually,
I felt that because for me, I saw that from afar. Like before you and I really knew each other, I saw that happen and I was like, oh fuck, that's cool.
And that video was shot by Patrick CC, who I also just met at that time. Yeah, Patrick shot that and edited it.
So, okay, so that time, that was a really magical time. Like you and Kishore getting out like to that side, making that shit, all the songs you made, the videos you shot, like that was special.
That was almost the most important time besides Right Now. I would say that and Right Now are the two most important points in my entire life.
Yeah.
To what I knew I like wanted to do as like a career.
Yeah.
Because like as this stuff is starting to happen in my head, like it had already clicked before, but now I'm like, all you can do now is go hard or it's not going to work.
And so, you felt that then? You felt that?
I knew because once I got like a taste of it from Flaming Hot Cheetos and Moshi Moshi being the first two songs that really did well, like surpassed my expectations by a lot. I was like, I like this feeling, and I'm going to obviously like make whatever I want, but also I need to start thinking now about what I'm making. And I need to start like thinking about like how I'm going to like grow and take this a little bit more seriously as an artist now, because it's not just me like goofing around anymore completely.
It's really cool to hear that, because I feel like you have the very light demeanor of like, oh, cool, this is all super fun and all that. But like, there's that side of you that grew up playing sports and like giving it 100 that's really been there the whole time. And when you got that taste of a win, you were just like in.
It was just like in sports. It's like when you win, I don't know. That was like the best part of it for me. It was just like scoring goals. And to me, like dropping those songs was like, I just scored 2 really, really important goals. And I was like, how do I make it so instead of scoring every once in a while, I could score every single game?
Damn.
And that's kind of like how I started thinking about it after that. So at this time, we just dropped Moshi Moshi, and I started now getting to know like the boys that I'm friends with now a little bit more. So I met Patrick CC and Convolk first.
Okay.
And they were like 2 of my first friends that I met in New York.
Yep.
And then my favorite artist of all time, who I'd hit up before and who like I talked to a little bit on the internet as a fan, but never really as like a boy, hits me up and he's like, hey man, I'm with Internet Hippie right now. Like I'm in New York. And I was like, oh no, he's not. Like this isn't real. And then Internet Hippie FaceTimes me, and like Shinigami like answers the phone, and it was him in FM, and he was like, hey bro, like we're in New York, like let's hang out. So I'm going back to Brooklyn to get my stuff from my friend's house to take my car back to Maine, because I've worked the next day at like 4 a.m. Yeah. And it's like 5 p.m. and I'm going to get home at like whatever, like crazy hours. So I jump out of the Uber, just tell him to stop. I'm like, I canceled it. I was like, I'm jumping out. And I get on the subway and go back to Manhattan and meet Gianni and FM that day.
Yes.
And instantly when I met Gianni and FM, it was like 2 more people that I was like, these people are like super genuine. Like they're obviously, Shinigami was like my favorite artist. And I was like, this is who I need to be around. Like these guys like know what they're doing. Yeah. So instantly I feel like we hit it off.
Yeah. Like, and what month, year is that?
This is like early summer of last year, maybe late spring.
Whoa. Okay, cool. Not that long ago.
Yeah, me and Gianni got close really fast last summer, I think, because just like it was like me and Kishore meeting them that one day, and then like instantly like I just loved Gianni as like a person, because I really didn't know him as a person before that. I was like a fan because I knew about Luna.
Yeah.
And I was just like listening to his music, but once I met him, I was like, this is just like a good dude.
Dude, he's just
a bro.
Yeah.
So then it was like every week I was like, hey man, what are you doing? And he was like, nothing, what are you doing? And I was like, you want to go to New York and chill at Heavy's house?
Oh my God. I remember that from afar because I think that's right around the time that him and I started working together. And like, I remember hearing about you and like it was kind of starting to come up and I'd see you around and I didn't know who you were. But that's kind of like where you started to get on my radar a little bit.
Yeah. So, because Mitch had found me like in 2017, way before that.
Yeah.
And Mitch was always like really cool about like trying to tell people about me and stuff.
Yeah.
But at first it was kind of like,
it was probably Mitch. It was probably Mitch that showed me you at first. And then it was the second nudge of being,
yeah, Mitch was really going hard for the boy. But at that time, no one saw my face. Like, and I was in Kentucky. Yep. Mitch found me when I lived in Kentucky.
Wow.
In high school. Like Mitch was in college and I was in high school.
Mitch could be an A&R. Like,
no, really.
So early on.
Like he was really crazy. The first song I dropped, Mitch DM'd me about. And all they had out was 4 a.m. and all I had out was Lil Sheeta.
I did find you through Mitch because you were going to be on the first version 3 mixtape.
Yeah.
I fucked that up.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and then you didn't get back to me.
Fuck.
I dropped it on an internet hippie mixtape.
That's right. And I was like, I fucked up. This song was fire.
Yeah, I remember I sent it to you.
Dude, sorry. Formally sorry.
Nah.
I fully fucked up there.
All love.
And I thought you were going to hate me for that. I was like, dude, I big time this kid. I was so excited to put it out. That's so funny.
Yeah, no. I never like hold grudges against anyone. And then like once we met, obviously we became boys, so it was fine. But I was a little disappointed at the time, but I wasn't like salty about it because I was excited to be a part of that.
Dude, I can't believe that because I legit, like, I was like, this kid's too cool for me. Like, he's not going to want to put it out on a V3 tape. And I almost couldn't believe you said yes. And then I don't know what happened. I think I got caught up in some tour thing and I fully, like, that tape did not come out for way too long. And I missed, like, you put it out on that other thing. And I was like, I missed it. He's blowing up too soon. He's going to hate me. So that's so funny to hear your side of it. I can't believe you were bummed. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good. That tape was fire either way. There's like, because you had Gianni on that. You had Family Pet on that. I'm trying to remember who else was on it. Morgan was on it. Morgan was a feature on Gianni's song on it.
Yeah. And
that's really when I first found out about him was through that. Because that song also came out on I Will Never Be a Memory. Yeah. But yeah, that's like a whole nother thing. My first interaction with Morgan was like me really early on, like DMing him for a feature and him being like $80. And I was like, nah, it's too expensive, man. And then we like met later on and I like brought it up to him and he's like, wait, that was you?
Dude,
dude, and literally now he's like a close homie of mine. Like I love Morgan.
It's so funny talking about like all of our first interactions because we're all just internet kids, right? Like all of us just find each other, whatever. But those first internet interactions were like maybe you're having a bad day, maybe you're scrolling fast or whatever, and you don't fully realize it, and then you become friends later, and you're like, and then you're just like, sorry. Yeah,
that was literally me to everybody. I was like, bro,
holy shit.
Back to all that though. So this is like the most important time at this point.
Let's go.
So me and Gianni start getting really close and so he comes over to Brooklyn one day to my friend Noble's house and I was like, hey man, do you want to make a song? And at that point, I don't think he really wanted to, but he was like, I'll rap on it as like a joke. Like I have this thing called Lil Shadow. Yeah. And he was like, can you play it for me? And he's like, maybe I could rap on it. So I played him like 2 songs and he was like, nah, like this isn't good. So I was like, okay, like we'll just wait. Cause at that point I like enjoyed being around him so much. I didn't even really care if we were ever going to make music anymore or not.
Yeah.
He was still my favorite artist, but I really like had like a different level of respect for him. So I was like, okay. But then I play this beat to the song that became King of the Pumpkin Patch, which is my 3rd song that actually ended up doing really well. And he was like, yeah, let me throw a verse on the end of this. So we made it that night and put out this video of the 2 of us dancing with like keyblades to it. And I remember posting that and him commenting on it or maybe posting it on his story or something. And after that, everybody was like, who is that kid? Like he like likes Kingdom Hearts like Shinigami, but he's not. And like, what does he do? Like, why is he around all of them? So after this time, I'm like back on my grind, like working on music again. And I make this song called Strawberry Aura.
Oh shit.
And I knew of this kid that I was like a really big fan of. And I didn't think he really did features like that. So one day he posts, he's like, hey, I'm doing features right now, like $150 or something. And I was like, hey man, I don't have $150, but like, I'd love to like send you the song and you could get on it. And I sent it to him. And he was like, yeah, send it. And I sent it and he was like, all right, man, like here, I did the verse. It's back. And that was like my first interaction with Nine Tails ever.
Oh, shit.
And then we started like playing World of Warcraft together, and we started like talking on Discord every day. And he was really like such a genuine, like nice ass person. Like he always like gave me advice because he saw that I was like trying to get to where he was at the time.
Yeah.
And he was really like my first like long distance friend that I had, because he lived in Canada. Mm-hmm. And like at the time I lived in Maine, but we talked like every day. Like we were getting so close. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, yo, I really love that song. And like my fans love it. So like we should do another one. And I was like, okay. What do you want to do? And he's like, I'll get you on one of my songs now. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, I love your music. It's fire. So he sends me the open to New York. And he was like, bro, you got to hop on this. So I remember being so fucking excited that he was like even considering it.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous about doing the verse. Like, it was so bad. Kishore made me redo it like 10 times.
Whoa.
And I was up all night. I had to go to work the next day. And I was literally in our house writing and like pacing around nervously around the house. And I was like, bro, he's not going to fucking like it. Like, what am I going to do? And then like, I say this line. I was like, now I'm in the 6 dog cream soda Faye, go. And Nate like opens my door and he's like, that's it. He's like, that's it. That's a verse. Do that. And he's like, let me hear the rest of it. And so I played it for him. And then I played him the other verses that I did. And he was like, all right, so the 6 dogs line. And he's like, take this and take this. And he's like, cut them all into one verse, like all like 10 verses. And then I like said the final verse. And he was like, bro, like, this is what you need to send back. And I sent it back to Miles. And he was like, dog, I love this. This shit is fire.
Damn.
He put it out.
Shouts to Nate. That's cool. That's cool that he was,
Nate
like,
really cared and like wanted it to be cool. So 2 weeks from that go by, and we're all in New York. Well, I think it was like me, Gianni, Scuff, Kishore, Convolk. This is like, I don't know, when was that? June, maybe? Or May?
I think it was June.
June. So yeah, so June, we're all in New York. And Convolk's like, yo, do you want to come with me to pick up Nine Tails and Garden from the bus station? And I had always known about Garden. And I was like a really big fan of him, but I had never met him before. So I was like, yeah, man, of course. Like, that's fire.
Yeah.
So I finally got to meet them in person. Like, Nine Tails and me instantly connected. Nick at the time was really shy. And I was like, damn, bro, I hope he doesn't fucking hate me. Yeah. But I really didn't know his story. Right. So he's like come out of that shell so much now. And is just like so like, I'm super fucking proud of Nick. Like, if you see this, like, I love you, man. Proud of you.
We all love him.
Yeah.
Like, he's become so much family. And I think that he was so shy, and like, not even that he was ever outside of it, but he was literally just in upstate New York.
Yeah, he was just outside of it, literally.
Yeah.
Like in upstate New York.
And I feel like I remember on the first Version 3 tour when he got to Cleveland, we like gave him like this big old hug, and like I knew that he was like nervous about it.
Yeah.
It was just instant family. And I feel like ever since then it's just been like, but keep
literally going. Yeah. So then we meet that day, and we're just like chilling in Heavy's house, all of us. And I think Convolk was like, I want to shoot a video for the song that I just dropped. It's called Whatever It Takes. And I don't know, like Jack can give insight on this, but I don't know if he didn't know what to do for it, or if he didn't know what the idea was. But then like somehow it came to the conclusion that we were going to do a 1-take video. And it was like Nine Tails, Garden, and Convolk in the front. And then me, Gianni, and Scuff and Nate just chilling in the back.
Yeah. And
like, I'm just like watching this video like unfold, and I was like, dude, like I don't think that they really like fuck with me like that. I'm gonna just stay out of it. So Nine Tails, like, and you could even see this in the video, like comes up to me, and Miles is like, bro, he's like, I want you to like get in the video for my part. And I was like, no, like I'm not getting in it. I'm gonna look crazy. And he's like, get in it. So I was like, okay. So you could see me, I like set my drink down, and I'm like awkwardly like walking over to the rest of them.
Like boogie on him.
And I was like so uncomfortable, but you could see in the video, like it was like love energy, like just like bringing me in and like making me feel not awkward. Cause at that point I didn't even want to like be on camera. Like I was so scared of people like seeing.
And you shot it, right, Jack?
Yeah, Jack shot it.
Did you like watch this interaction? Like, did you know everybody?
I didn't notice that.
Okay.
But everyone there, yeah.
You like, well, like, so like did you know the dynamic of everybody knowing each other? Or like, did you know that would be such a special video? Or were you like,
oh dude, at that point there was no way we knew that. Or did you assume?
Well, that day was just super crazy. I was just trying to keep up the whole time. But like, yeah, you could tell it's not your average dynamic of like artists hanging out. Like,
That's so sick.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay, so you were chilling that day.
Yeah.
That happens.
So then I'm trying to think if this was the same day or the next day. When did we shoot New York? That day?
The next
Oh, the next day.
day.
Yeah, because you guys had to go home. Oh, okay. So we shoot that, and then like I'm awkward as fuck, but it ends up just being like a really good bro moment, and like we all get closer off that. But really, like that was like unknowingly me like establishing myself as like a member of that community, because it was like a facial recognition, not like an, because from that people were like, who the fuck is this kid? Like he's
Right.
everywhere, like he's
Right.
with all these people. So then they found my music from like looking up who I was from that, and that really like was the next step. And then I remember the next day we woke up, everybody had to go home, like Nick was going back to upstate, and Miles had to go back to Toronto, and Miles wanted to shoot a video and I wanted to shoot a video, and he was like, yo, instead of like whatever we were gonna do, let's just like shoot the video for New York. And Jack was like, I have 20 minutes before I have to go, can we like do it? And we like walked out onto like the street corner that we could find, like literally anywhere that we could find, shot the whole video in like 20-30 minutes, ran back to Heavy's house and like put it out 2 weeks later. And then that like became the New York video, which I think now is just like, it's like history to me, because it was like such a different time in my life, but like such a fire time.
Yeah.
And like I still watch it all the time because it's just like,
It's like
a
that
good moment with my
special-
boy.
Yeah.
And that and the Whatever It Takes video were just like moments that like, I don't know, I feel like just changed a lot, because it really like cemented this community thing.
Yeah.
And like it was like a group of friends and not just a bunch of artists who existed on the internet.
I think that's so important. And it's like, I remember you coming on, I guess we're fast forwarding a little bit, but not really, but like you coming on First Version 3 tour, it was like, I felt that energy from you where you were like so genuinely hyped to be a part of the group. And you had this very humble, like you were just happy to be there. Like you could tell that it was internet coming to life, and your energy, like there was a part of you so humble, so happy to be there, so quiet. But then in the right moments, like you were thriving with the lads, like wiling out on stage. And like you just, we were talking about it, like it didn't feel right without you, right? Because you were only able to do the first three shows.
It was like I knew I was supposed to be there.
Dude, and we felt it. Everybody felt it. So that's crazy, because that was, so you're talking about like summer, like early summer.
This is like early summer. So if
2018.
you want, we can fast forward to October.
which is when,
Like
this is important.
October 1st. Yeah.
Because
This is when you asked me,
and
and this is also like a really important day
Pumpkin Scream.
in time. Yeah.
Okay, so you meet them. It's pretty fresh. Video happens. Fast forward to October. You come out to LA,
Yeah.
and I'll tell my part of it.
Okay.
And then you come into yours.
Okay.
All right. So I knew who you were by this time. And I was like, again, I thought you were going to be like too cool for me, because you had already, like, you had that video come out on Elevator. I missed putting you on that mixtape, and I was like, this kid's going to think I'm a dick. So I hear you're coming to the house, and I'm like, thank God. Like, I wanted to like talk to you and be like, dude, I'm a huge fan. Like, I'm so stoked, whatever. So you come, and it's like this mutual thing of us being like, yo, good to meet you. And like instantly, like the second we say what up, I'm like, oh, there's no bad blood at all. We're good. And you would come, like, I mean, I think it was like a crazy trip for you to get here. It felt like a whirlwind, and you were only here for that night, I want to say.
Yeah, literally.
So I'm in my room building furniture. We had just moved in, and I'm putting together October. Yeah, the Where Are All My Friends tour was December. So I'm putting the tour together, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Would you want to do the first couple dates? And instantly you were just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, there wasn't any thought. You were just like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, oh, sick. Fuck yeah. So that was done. Then you're like, I'm going to go upstairs and make a beat with Mark.
Yeah.
I'm building furniture.
Who I didn't know at the time.
Mark being 93 feet.
We didn't know each other.
That's crazy. But you knew his music. You had to have known his music.
I was a fan.
Okay.
Like Okay, so can I tell my part now?
Yeah,
Okay,
go.
So I was going to hang out with 2 other homies in Calabasas that day, and I'm driving from Santa Clarita to there, and we're like about to be in LA, and this kid is like, "Yo, I'm sick. I have to cancel on you." So I'm just like, "Bro, what?" So the night, or maybe the night or 2 nights before, me and Charlie, had a show together, and Mark didn't come to that show, but we had talked a little bit about like just meeting each other. Because I was just a fan of him, but he had found out about me through either Mitch or Gianni or something. Yep. So he was like, "Yeah, man, like you're welcome to come over to the house anytime." So I was like, okay. So I hit him up and I'm like, "Would it be okay if we still hang out?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm not doing anything. Like, come over." So I was like mad nervous because I didn't even know him. And I was like, damn, what if this fool doesn't like me? Like, this is crazy. So I get to the house and instantly like me and Mark are like getting along well, but he's like, "Do you want to like play some beats?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." So we're listening to all these beats up in his room, and like I didn't really like any of them, to be honest. And then he's like, "I have this beat. It's called Lindsay Lohan. It's really crazy, man." He's like, "But no one wants to use it. Like they all think it sucks." So I was like, "Well, let me just hear it because I like weird stuff." So he plays the beat, and like it's the Pumpkin Scream beat, and in like that second, I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this one. Like this is lit." And he was like, "Oh, damn! I didn't think you would like this." And I was like, "Yeah, this is insane." So we go and get Tecates.
Yep.
Very important part of the story. It is
important.
So we go and get Tecates, and I remember my friend Brandon was here, who's like one of my best friends from high school, and he just said something like so casual. He was like, I was like dancing or something with the beers in my hand, and he's like, "Ooh, okay, Gas, you doing it on your own shit right now," something like that. And I was like, "What did you just say?" And he's like, "Oh, you doing it on your own shit." And I was just like, I just had to do it on my own shit. And then I was like, "Yo, is that fire?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, and then I was like, "Okay, I just had to do it." So I'm like writing the song like out in the open. Like I'm barely even like writing it down. I'm just like getting it out. And he's like, "All right," like they're all like, "Start writing it down." So I'm like I'm writing it. And then I was like, I can't think of a hook idea. And someone was just like, "I mean, it's October." And I was just like, "Yeah, well, I'm finna glow October," like just like that. And Mark was like, yeah, that's pretty good. All right, write that down. So I go into the closet and I'm like trying to rap it at first, but I like can't get like the voice right for it because my range that I was using at the time like didn't make sense with the beat.
It's a super heavy, dirty kind of beat.
Because I'd never made anything like that, never listened to that kind of music. So I was like, what am I gonna do? Because I'm like rapping it. So I was like, okay, let me just like try something. So then I start like doing like the Pumpkin Scream voice, and everyone's like, yeah. Like Mark's like, let me just turn the gain up, and like this is actually like fire. So I record the whole thing, and then he plays it back to me, and I was just like, I didn't think twice of it. I was like, okay, this is fire. Cool. Yep. I'll drop it maybe.
So I'm jumping in here for
okay, because the story gets better.
I come up around that time where I hear the beat. And like I was at this point pretty accustomed to hearing Mark make beats and things like that. And I love listening to him just mess around. But I hear a beat that's different. I'm like building furniture, whatever. I hear the beat and I was like, they're cooking. Like, I was like, I could tell that Gasper being in the room with him was something different. I was like, let's see what this shenanigans is all about. So I go upstairs, and this is like kind of when you're playing it back. And it was the most casual, like, I mean, it had been not an hour and it was done. And we're sitting down, drinking Tecates, and everybody's kind of just got this vibe where it's like, shit, that's cool, huh? So go.
So I have to leave LA that night. I went to go catch my flight later after we had all hung out. So go back to LA or to New York the next day because I didn't have work. I think I had like taken the week off maybe or something. So I go to chill with Gianni and Gaff in New Jersey, and we're going to New York. We had like gone to the mall or something, and to buy Gianni an electric scooter. That was that day. Yeah. So we're going back home or something, or going to New York. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we're going to New York, and all of a sudden I was just like, I just remembered that I'd made that song, and I was like, dude, can I play you guys what I made in LA? And everyone was like, yeah, man, of course. So I like play it in the car, and instantly Gianni was like, bro, like I should hop on this. And I was like, really? After all this time? Like, this is what you want to get on after all the songs I've asked you to be on? And he's like, yeah, man, like this is fire. He's like, I actually really like this. because I'd like talked to him for like months, and we'd known each other at this point for like 6 months.
Yeah,
maybe.
you have become friends, but you came from a standpoint of being a fan, and you're like, dude, let's do shit. And he's like, maybe Shadow will jump on.
Yeah, so for that to be like the first thing, I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be good, or if you even think it's good, really, but okay, like whatever you want to do. So we instantly flipped the Uber around, and he's like, Internet Hippie has a studio. We're going to Internet Hippie's house, and I was like, all right, man, let's get it. So we go to Internet Hippies, and literally like we do me and Gianni's Internet Hippie interviews, and like right after Gianni's like, all right, man, I'm recording this right now. So we go into Internet Hippie's like room, no like pop filter or anything. He just like sets up the mic, and he's like, all right, man, I'm doing it right now. So
Very genius.
I like passed out that night. I wasn't feeling too hot. So I wake up the next morning, and I hadn't heard it yet. So I like, Gianni had sent me the audio file overnight, and I was like, bro, this shit is so fire. And this was a Saturday. So I was like, I'm dropping it tomorrow. Like, I have to. This shit is so fire. Like, I feel like it'll be cool. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I think it'll just be like a nice little song for you. So like we drop it. And then I remember you like called me that morning of the Sunday, and you're like, dog, did you see? Like, this shit is like doing fucking good.
You wouldn't look.
And
you wouldn't look at the numbers.
And to this day, I don't look at that shit because it gives me anxiety. So I was like, no, I don't care. And you were like, yeah, man, I mean, you don't have to look, but I'm going to just tell you that it's like doing really good.
Yeah, and you're like above or under like 50K or something like that. And I was like, it's creeping. Like, I think it is.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you're like, no, stop. And I was like, I mean, and I'm like kind of like doing my nerdy math. I'm like, at this rate, it's probably going to break this at this time. And you're like, stop, dude, stop.
Yeah, I remember. I like didn't want to know. So then I like checked it 2 days later, and I was like, what the fuck? And that was like when I knew. I was like, all right, this song is something special, because like it really didn't blow up at first, but that was my first song that got like 100K in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
It didn't blow up like it did now. And we'll talk about that. Well, yeah,
because blow up to me now is like a different.
Right.
Because at that time that was blowing up.
It blew up in its own regard because you were getting it did, I would say, 10 times better than anything else, which was crazy.
Easily, yeah.
But you weren't like getting the plays that you're currently getting now. So it was this crazy cool sign, but then it also like it's not nearly as big. It didn't blow up the way that it has now. It had a resurgence.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, and we'll talk about that, I guess, here in a second.
Okay, yeah.
But that was nuts.
Yeah, no, at the time I was like, this is crazy, because like we say to this day, like we just made it for fun.
Dude, and we always joked about it in this house. Like, we were like, something crazy is going to come out of this house. And it's like become the joke that like the one night, the 3 or 4 hours that you came over was like the song that came out of here.
But I don't think any of us knew that it was going to be that. But no. I think that's why it's way more special. Because we weren't trying. We were just having fun.
Completely. I completely agree. So then that comes out. You come out on the version 3 tour, and to me that was important as far as our friendship.
Yeah.
Because I knew after that you were like one of us, in the sense of just like you belonged, and you were this real artist and this excited person that just wanted to do it. And watching you perform, we were just like, all of us were like, what's this energy? What is this? Who's this person? Like, what?
Bro, because I was so nervous to be there with you guys. And as soon as like we got up on stage, because I'd done the Kentucky show and like one more show before that, maybe. Yeah. So being there and like being around all these artists that I look up to, I was just like, bro, you better go hard or go home right now. Like, you got to turn all that nervous shit off. So I got up on stage and I was like, for a second, we're just going to forget that we're Gasper, and we're going to pretend to be Savage Gasp for a little bit and see how it goes.
You did that.
And then like my live performance ended up being like one of the, like, I would say my strongest points to this day.
Dude, yeah. So that was really special. And to me, like, I was really honored to have you, because I felt like I missed in the beginning where I like had my chance to do something. So like having you be a part of that felt like all was right in the world, and it just, every bit of it was cool. And that tour was so special to me.
Oh, dude, to this day, like, I'll never forget that. Like,
dude,
I really found out a lot more about myself because of that tour, and like being around those people, getting comfortable with myself, performing and everything. Like, I feel like I just learned a lot in like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up so much so fast, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
So then another part that I want to get to is, where did you two meet and where does that come into it?
So Tommy knew Keyshore a little bit. So around the same time that Pumpkin Scream was being made, maybe a little bit before that, Keyshore got an open from Tommy, and like I just heard it, and I'd like known about him from Instagram because I thought like he was just like really fire, like his style was mad cool. But I was like, this kid's never gonna like talk to me. He probably thinks I'm a stupid virgin. So I just asked Keyshore, I was like, would it be cool if I like got on the song with you guys? Like, he doesn't have to use it, but if he likes it, like, can we just use it?
You piggybacked on to Keyshore's open.
Yeah, but how I did it was like, I knew that if it wasn't good, he wasn't going to do it. So I just went like absolutely as hard as possible. I think that's still one of my best. I think that's still one of my best features to this day.
Had like the shortest verse ever. Like it was like a 3-second verse.
Yeah, no, his verse was like 30 seconds, and I literally rapped just straight bars for like a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, snapping.
And then me and Keyshore went back to back at the end.
I didn't need to be on. I was just like, it's technically their song.
Featuring you.
So I knew that I needed to do that though for Tommy to like see that I was like actually serious and like I wasn't just some random kid that like lived with Keyshore.
What were your thoughts on it? Like, did you know anything about Gasper or like?
I think I saw him like posted up with like Keyshore in a couple of posts, but I didn't really know who he was until like Keyshore mentioned him, and then like after that, like I checked out his music, I was like, oh shit, like shit kind of stopped it.
So you were just off the radar. Like he was just like,
dude,
oh, cool.
Completely.
Yeah.
But as soon as me and Tommy became friends, he was like one of the most supportive, like cool people that I've like ever met. Like to this day, like Tommy like supports people like no one else. Like he doesn't care if you're like big or small.
Yeah.
Like if he fucks with you, he'll support you.
So when did you guys meet in person?
Ooh, New York. What was that recently, or was that?
This was like a couple of months ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, we were friends over the internet for a long time before we actually met.
Because,
yeah.
Okay, so you guys had been internet friends. You got the open there. It was enough for you to take him seriously and be like, oh shit, this is cool. Because then, and if I'm messing the timeline up, fix it.
Okay.
But you put out Tunnel of Love, and that was an important part.
Yeah, that was like, so that's jumping ahead a little bit, but that was like, so we got home from the Version 3 tour in January, right? Or am I right? Or December?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the very end of December. So yeah.
Yes, because then I went home for Christmas.
Yeah.
So probably a month goes by of me like chilling. Actually, I also went on the Texas tour around that time.
That's right.
That Lone Wolf tour. It was like me, Convolk, a few other homies. Keyshore came.
Oh, cool.
That was such a fire tour too. So that's what I had been doing in that time. And then I got home and I hadn't recorded music in a really long time. And like the first thing that I got being back was the open from Tommy for Tunnel of Love.
Okay.
And at the time, I didn't really have like a setup, like, because also when we were on tour, when I just got back from that Version 3 tour, my car broke.
Oh,
it got totaled.
Your E36?
Yeah. I crashed it into someone and then the front was like fucked. And then I went to, actually, it was one of Nick's shows in Philly, and I was like, it snowed, long story short, and like the hood was a soft top, so it got covered in ice, and I was trying to break off the ice. I think me and Nate were doing it, and I just like, using an umbrella or some stupid shit. So the convertible top broke, and like that, we had no way to get to New York at the time. So I was like, fuck, this sucks. So I had no setup, really. This is after me and Mitch moved in together. Mitch had like a mic though.
Yeah.
Or at least like some sort of makeshift setup. So he had taken his mic. So I called my friend Jordan and I was like, yo, Tommy sent me this like really fire open, but I can't do it. Like, and he was like, don't worry, I have like an old mic that we can use. So we really like made do that day and like recorded in my closet and just like banged it out and then freaking like mixed it really half-assed. I think we mixed it on like GarageBand or like something. And I was like, bro, I hope Tommy like doesn't hate this because I didn't think it was good at all. And I sent it back to Tommy and he was like, yeah, man, like this is he was like, yeah, this is good. So I was like, all right. So I was like a little bit self-conscious about it because I didn't like how my verse sounded, but he put it out. Like obviously I said it was cool and he put it out. And then nothing really happened at first.
But we've been saying like this is like gonna. Like,
No, I was about to get to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. So I didn't even talk about this. So Pumpkin Scream at this time is having like this little bit of a bubble on TikTok
Because the
girl posted
it.
Yeah, so that's happening that like February also.
Yes.
So Tunnel of Love is chilling. It has like 10K. So this girl posts Pumpkin Scream, and it had like a full start really, because it didn't really blow up till like 6 months after that.
Yep.
But this girl posts it, and for like a couple days, everything's going crazy. Like the song's doing good. And Tommy says, he's like, bro, I have a feeling that we're going to blow up on TikTok. He's like, I'm just going to call it right now because it's going to happen. And I was like, dog, I don't think that that's going to work. He's like, nah, trust me. Your song's already like going crazy. And I was like, honestly, I think that's pretty much the extent of it. Like, I think I just got lucky. And he's like, nah, you're tripping. Trust me. So another month and a half, 2 months goes by, nothing happening. And I'm like working on I Guess I'm Over It at the time.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so that was really what I was doing to fill the time. And I was getting ready for the second tour because we were talking about it.
Yeah, tour was coming up.
So right before that tour, so like April, May-ish, Tunnel of Love starts popping off crazy on TikTok. And Tommy was like, bro, I fucking told you. So people are like doing all types of dances to it. And neither one of us really knew what TikTok was.
No, I didn't really like have the app or nothing.
But like fans were like sending it to us and we're like, hey man, like whatever.
So you guys don't know, like that initial, whatever that was, the very beginning of kids finding it, that was totally organic.
Yeah,
Whoa.
for both of them.
Whoa.
So Tunnel of Love is popping off, and Tommy is like doing his thing. Like he's I'm trying to think of what we were doing at the time. I guess I was putting out I Guess I'm Over It. Tommy was like helping me work on that, and like Tommy was doing his own thing too. And Tunnel of Love was going crazy though. Like it was going from like getting like 10K a day to like 100K a day.
Yeah, I
Type
remember that moment. Like it was like comical how crazy it was going. It was like check it and be like, okay.
Yeah, so
Like,
I'm like getting ready to go on tour with you again as this happens, and I dropped I Guess I'm Over It.
yep.
And I really think like I don't like give that album enough credit, but I think that was the final thing that like cemented me as like an actual person in the community that wasn't just some random fan or some friend of someone.
Yeah.
And that was like a really, really big moment. And at this time, Tunnel of Love is popping off so huge that it kind of like pushed I Guess I'm Over It out
It
more.
was perfect timing.
So and it was like we didn't know. Like so I Guess I'm Over It happened to pull a Gasp without even pulling it, because I didn't even do that. Like it just happened to coincide.
yeah.
And I Guess I'm Over It started popping off a little bit, and Tunnel of Love was continuing to go crazy. So I was like, this is dope. We're on tour. Life is great. And like halfway through the tour, no, we're in Arizona actually. And some girl from my high school is like, yo, I've been seeing Tunnel of Love everywhere. Did you see that someone posted one to Pumpkin Scream? And I was like, no. And we'd just got done performing. Like me and Gianni had performed it maybe 20 minutes before. And I was like, no, like we were doing the meet and greet with people outside. I was like, I haven't seen it. I was performing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she sent it to me.
On version 3 tour.
Yeah. That happened
shit.
on tour with you also.
Oh my God.
So yeah, which is like crazy coincidence, but it just happened to be what happened. So we're in Arizona, and I look when we got back to my parents' house, and the video that the girl had posted already had like 30,000 likes on TikTok. So I was like, all right, like I didn't really know how it worked, but I was like, that's super fire. So one of my friends, Owen, he's like one of my best friends from Boston, like his girlfriend, it was famous on TikTok also. And she was one of the first people that posted it too, because he was like, yo, look, the song is like popping off. Like you should like do it. Like this is my friend Gasp. So then she posted it. And like from that, her friend that was like even bigger than that posted it. And then from that, like all these people. So it took that one little organic push for someone else to see it, for Owen to just see it, like, oh, that's my friend Gasp. Like he didn't even tell me at first that he did it. And then he just showed it to her, and he was like, you don't have to make a video to it, but if you like it. And she just happened to love the song. And then her friend just happened to like it. And then those people just happened to see it on her page. And from there, it was like firestorm, like 20,000 new videos every day.
Dude.
And
like all of us, like nobody expected it.
No one expected that.
All of us were just like, whoa, fuck. This is cool. This is real. Like what? And you'd watch the streams go up on Spotify. I think that's the thing that made like labels and industry start paying attention, because none of us understood TikTok. We were all just like, oh, that's crazy. That's a lot of people making these videos. And then you started seeing Tunnel of Love like jumping on Spotify, where it was like, oh, wait, that's real. And your monthly listeners were going crazy. And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then Pumpkin Scream. And it was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. And then it was really like everyone started paying attention then, because like people made videos about it. People made YouTube videos and TikTok videos and compilations, and like they went to the video on YouTube and blew it up even more on YouTube. And then they found like my other songs, and they took it and like put those on TikTok too. And then like I met people in the community, just because like just like us, like from our music community, they're just genuine cool people. Like there's some people on TikTok that are weird, and there's some people that are amazing, just like in anything else.
Yeah.
So the friends that I were making were like such great, genuine people. It was like I found another group that I like connected with, almost like when I first met all the homies that we chill with. It was just like they're from a different place,
Yeah.
but the energy is the same.
Yeah.
So
that's universal.
it was just like, and it was going so crazy, I really didn't have time to like notice. Like I was just like, what the fuck? So I'm working a job still. I got home from that tour and I went back to work.
Yeah.
And then one day my boss came in and he was like, hey man, is this you? And he like shows me like this video. His son made a TikTok to Tunnel of Love. And then like his son had looked up Savage Gas because he followed me on Instagram or something. And it was like my Instagram. And he was like, is this you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, do you make music or something? He's like, what do you do? He's like, why does my son know who you are? And I was like, dude, it's so hard to explain. So I like went into his office and explained everything about it. And he was just like, so are you going to quit? And I was like, nah, I don't think I need to quit. So that night I go home and I'm like thinking about like everything blowing up. And I'm like, that's crazy. And it's okay to cry FaceTimes me, just like on some regular bro shit. And he was like, hey man, you should make a TikTok. He's like, I did it for Viagra and it like helped the song a lot. He's like, I think that if you made one for Pumpkin Scream, like people would really like it. So I was like, okay. So the next day at work, I'm like brainstorming ideas for this TikTok. And I'm like, I'm too awkward. Like none of this shit is going to work. So I go home and I just like make the most Gasp video ever. I was like, I'm not going to try to edit it or do anything crazy. I'm going to just be like, hey, I'm Savage Gasp. So I made the song. So I posted it at like 7 p.m. And I checked back like 20 minutes later. It had like 300 likes. I was like, that's so much. That's fucking crazy. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. the next day to go to work, and it had like 480,000 likes on TikTok.
Oh my.
And my Instagram had jumped like 9K followers. And my TikTok it was at like 60,000 followers. And I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Like I like went to sleep and like turned off my ringer, and like I wake up and like everyone I know has messaged me, and I was like, what is going on? So I'm like looking at my notifications, and like everyone that was making videos that were famous to the song were commenting on the thing. We're just being supportive. And through that, their fan bases were like reaching out, and like more people were like using the video, and they're like, oh, he's just like a normal kid. Like that's so fire. And then it was like,
God,
from that, it was just like, it just went crazy bananas.
It went crazy. You know what? It's nuts for me to hear though, is it was layers of going crazy. Like Tunnel of Love first. And then it was like, damn, that's sick. And then Pumpkin Scream first. And like all these little steps, like it's like levels of,
yeah, there was
viral.
so many things that led up to it. It was just like, everyone thinks it like happened, but
yeah.
It was like a 5-month process of happening.
Yeah, that's actually like hearing you explain it. That's insane.
And like, I don't know. It feels really like unreal, but it's like even now, like like now Flaming Hot Cheetos and I'm Drunk and I Miss You, 2 older songs now are blowing up like that. Like Flaming Hot Cheetos is about to hit 2 million plays.
That's insane.
Like just thinking about that, because we know how long it's been out for.
Right.
And like,
so
how
is that going to happen again? And like
and it's like you think about it, and now like I don't know. It's hard to say, because it's such a powerful thing. You really don't know what's going to happen. That's for TikTok to decide.
I take it you quit that job?
Quit it the next week.
Was he just like, yeah, told you so?
He was just like, hey man, I'm happy for you. Like, that's dope. I like met his son. He was cool. I still like he was one of the coolest bosses ever. He like gave me days off to go to New York. He went at the very end of my job, he gave me days off to go talk to labels, to go have meetings, to like go like do whatever I needed to do. So he like he got it, and he was really, really supportive about it.
Damn.
Shout out my boy Big Wesley.
That's awesome. Shout out to Big Wesley.
Yeah, he's so fire.
Damn. So that kind of takes us to now.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah, I would say.
I mean, like, it's crazy. And like we were talking about this,
That just happened.
I for sure want to do a follow-up episode a year later or whatever, because I feel like from the time we met each other, which is almost exactly a year ago,
to the
now,
day, almost.
What's today, actually?
Like the 4th? Yeah, we met like...
Bro, we need to
almost
check that.
Exactly a year.
It might be an exact year. But like, holy shit, what's going to happen next? Because like just now, like you just saw this today, like you're on that Playboy Cardi show, right?
Yeah, so me and Tommy are opening for Playboy Cardi on the 24th at USC.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, man. And Gianni is performing with me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yo.
And if Mark and Charlie and everybody are here, like I would love for like the first time I do Pumpkin Scream in front of like 10,000 people to be with the same boys that I did it with in front of 10 people.
Yo, you better believe we're showing up for that.
I got you all on the guest list.
Oh my God. And anybody listening needs to be there. Anybody in this area needs to be there and understand how special that is.
Because it really is just like, yeah.
But like,
I saw, dude, and seeing that shit this morning was funny. Like I'd just woken up and our friend Drew comes into the room and he's like, Gasp, like you're on the front page of Snapchat. And I was like, what? Like, you know, they have those ads.
Yeah.
And I opened mine up and like the first ad that I clicked was like Playboy Cardi. And then I was like reading the lineup and I was like, wait a minute, that's my name.
I know that name.
I was like, wait, me and Tommy are right there. And, I was just like, damn, because literally yesterday I did a lyric breakdown with TikTok that's coming out on their page for Pumpkin Scream and Tunnel of Love too.
Oh,
so that was like another thing that happened that was like absolutely insane.
We're like legit in the middle of it right now. Like,
no, literally,
yeah,
like today is like this shit is still happening.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're sitting down right now too, because like what a special little moment. Like we don't know what happens from here.
Yeah, dude, it's hard to say. Like I feel like myself, like I haven't changed, but what's going on around me is drastically different from last year.
And we were joking about it too. It's like on that first tour, I gave you a $10 per diem and you're like, I'm sorry, what? Like we get money to eat every day? And you were so excited.
Dude, because I was just so happy that you gave me a chance to be on it. And I remember like coming there, I spent all the money that I had from work on a flight to get there because I didn't make any money off streaming at that point. And I was just like, I didn't want to like tell you guys that I didn't have any money. Like, I was just like, I'm going to just like eat when I can and just do it. So when you offered me that, I was just like, bro, like this shit is crazy.
God, to now it's like you can live off of music.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dream that people chase for a lot.
Nowadays, anyone can, like, you know, like what you're doing.
See,
true.
And that's like my message always to everybody is like, I think if you like work really, really hard and like put yourself in the right places and just like, I don't know, just be a genuine ass person, you can really like do the shit. Cause like we're no better than you. No, I don't think anybody's better than the other just because like you do something, you have some status, like doesn't matter.
I love that.
I feel like any kid could like do it too. But for me, it's just like, I'm still not used to it, to be honest, but it's definitely nice to just not have to worry about certain things like that, because I was always worried about that. I was always like, I don't have enough money. Will I have enough money to eat? Will me and Mitch have enough money to pay the rent? Like whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like just really thankful for that.
I love that that's your story. I love that that's your message. And it's really cool to me to have a friend like you that is proof of that. And to make it so real by telling this story, because from afar, you're like, oh, must be nice to just go viral on TikTok. But as we break it down, there was so much that went into it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah,
dude, like
there's
years of work.
A little bit of like, okay, cool. This person liked the song and posted it. But what it took to make the song that was liked, the connections, the people that you met, the risks you took, the amount of shows and turning back on your way to home to New York to make a song, to meet the right people, to jump on a verse with Kishore, to get that opportunity to get on an open with you. Like every bit of that is work.
And it all led to now. Because
Right.
if it wasn't for that, me and Tommy wouldn't be sitting in the same room together. Tunnel of Love wouldn't exist. If I hadn't gone back that day, me and Gianni would have never met.
Dude, and that, like, I love that because it could seem like it's all so like, oh, cool, this is fun. Whoa, look at all this that happened. But you busted your ass to put yourself in those opportunities. And with no money or no security or proof of concept of that working at all.
I was just like, dude, I feel like this is the only way.
You're good. You can come
And
through.
that's it. I don't know. Yeah. It's like crazy that we're even like talking about it, but
It's insane. It's so cool. It's so cool to see that story because, you know, like there are unfortunately stories where that doesn't work out, right? And like people don't, like they chase it and it doesn't happen. But it's cool to see you guys be so genuine and it came from a really cool place of hard work. Young Burial just left the room.
you are now listening to Young Burial.
But damn, I mean, I feel like that says it, huh?
Yeah, dude, I feel like we covered pretty much everything so far. I think that I'm really excited to talk in a year about this because I wonder if we'll look back like, because if I would have told the Gasp that was here a year ago that this is what it was going to be like now, he would have been like, you're a fucking liar. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like this is like a nice time capsule. And I low-key wish we would have done it then, because then if I would have like listened back to how I was talking then,
I know.
I don't know. I feel like it's just like about growing up, really. Because like this year has made me like mature a lot and just like think about things a lot differently. But I think that that's where I need to be now.
Yeah.
Because like we got to grow up and just like get it, work hard and just get shit done.
Yeah.
I'm excited though for like the future for the boys.
Me too. And I think it's growing up in the right way, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're still like, it's still all the same bullshit shenanigans,
Yeah.
but it's like that work ethic and you see that hard work can pay off and then you just get those blinders to keep going.
Oh yeah, dude. Because it's like once you have it, it's like you freaking, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is crazy to hear that comes back all the way from the days of playing soccer.
yeah. And it's just like, it's the same like just competitive like nature. Like I don't want to be better than anyone else, but I want to be like the best possible Gasp that I could be. And that's like what I always want.
That's sick. I mean, fuck, I feel like we did the thing.
Let's get it on.
There it is. Thank you.
Of course, Doug.